Production from the top, middle, and bottom of the order, allowing the skipper to fill out his card with confidence. Today, Jordan Zimmerman looks to take the bull by the horns and run his home win streak to 15. It's going to be an afternoon sizzler at the home of the defending champions today. The Padres have lost 7 straight. The Nats are starting to play better baseball. The ball's been flying around in this hot weather. So right here on MASN, we're showing some attitude. Braves have lost 3 in a row. They throw Hudson at Philadelphia tonight. And suddenly now, the Nats are only 5 back. And it appears to be time for another Curly W here today. And he gets credit for that. Bob and FP, and the schedule coming up on to Philadelphia, on to Miami, then some pretty good clubs after the break, but some clubs under 500 on the radar in the near future.
Well, you're playing good baseball if you're the Nationals right now, and you have to take advantage of the schedule. You look at who the Nats are going to play. The Padres, they're in a bit of a scuffle right now. I think that's an understatement. 7 in a row, 40 and 47. Phillies 42 and 45. The Marlins playing much better baseball. The Dodgers, however, have won 11 of their last 14 games. So when you talk about this team playing better baseball, the last 6 games, they're hitting .291 as a club, and they've scored 40 runs. So the offense has definitely woken up, and the lineup's back together. Davey Johnson's got his starters all healthy, and that's what he's looking for.
Yeah, and that offense has helped Jordan Zimmerman this year. You know, there are no guarantees in baseball, but this guy pitching at home about as close as it comes.
Well, yeah, I mean, one of the best pitchers in baseball. He probably get named to the National League All-Star team today, going for his 13th win, and going up against a Padres offense that, quite frankly, has been struggling. So it's a good matchup for the Nationals. And Jordan Zimmerman tonight. Jason Marquis, however, has been good for the Padres as well.
And these starters know if they get it late to the ball game, they've got a chance. Here's the 8th inning guy, Tyler Clippard. 15 holds and an ERA of 2.21. If he can get through the 8th with that fastball changeup combination, it's on to the 9th for Soriano. 23 saves, 2.25 ERA, 11 in a row. Back into the bullpen, nails lately. Brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. Good day to be indoors in the team store for a while, but there's baseball in the next few minutes, so come on out. to Nationals Park, where the guys are 25-18 on the year and trying to go 3 games over 500. Train celebrating its 100th anniversary by offering irresistible financing. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. So 92, the heat index 99, and the ballpark's playing a bit small these days. Padres have hit 81 home runs, 7th in the league. Chase Headley went double and home run last night. He had been struggling. He's their best offensive player from a power standpoint, 2 for 12 career against the Nats starter. Jordan Zimmerman, 5th career start against the Padres. He has suffered from a lack of support, 1-2 against them with a 1.33. Everth Cabrera leads off. Jordan is ready to go. What else is new? And right on time at 4:05, he delivers a fastball in there. Cabrera 0 for 5 last night. He made the last out of the game, and now it's no balls, 2 strikes.
Last time out Monday against Milwaukee, earned his 12th win of the year, 10-5. Gave up 4 runs on 9 hits over 6 innings. Struck out 5, walked nobody. Through 88 pitches, 67 of those for strikes. So 2-seam fastball, 4-seam fastball. Slider, curve, change. Fastball average in the mid-90s.
And that was 93 on 0-2, slapped away by Cabrera, who came off the DL yesterday after a bad hamstring. And while he was gone, the Padres went 5-12. They are tied with the Giants, 5.5 back of the Diamondbacks. That was the off-speed breaking ball. Bruce Dreckman, 14-year veteran, has the plate. Quinn Wolcott, Dave Rackley, and the crew chief, Tim Welke, back with us tonight. He's at third base. Padres are 40-47, and on the road they're 15-29. Winning record against the East, 11-10. Zimmerman, 1st in the league in wins, 2nd in complete games, 3rd in home ERA, 5th in innings, 6th in overall earned run average. An amazing season. And Cabrera, tough contact guy. From the left side of the plate, he's hitting .254. And he's had a career RBI against Jordan, going 2 for 4. And there's no doubt about it, this guy, when healthy, is the catalyst for their offense. Will Venable, starting in center field, he's in the number 2 hole after not playing against Gio last night. And Cabrera will loft one to right. Jason Worth kind of bent his knees to take a good long look at it and didn't have to move at all for the first out of the game.
Dead in his tracks. That set the defense for the Nats today. Harper, Span, Worth in the outfield. Desmond Zimmerman, your left side. Rendon LaRoche, your right side. And Kurt Suzuki behind the dish. Don't forget, he was swinging the bat well before Wilson Ramos came back. Finds himself back in there tonight.
Yeah, 7 for 20 over his last 5 games. And suddenly, because of Ramos, the Nats have 33 RBIs from their catchers. Next up is Will Venable, who's on a 4-game hitting streak. And he's 7 for his last 16. 30-year-old outfielder. His dad played in the big leagues, and Max Venable's been a Padres minor league coach for the last few years. Padres hitting .246 as a team, 10th in the league. And Jordan Zimmerman back even with that one. High heat on a hot day.
Yeah, it's supposed to be down and in, but it was an elevated fastball at 93. Missed the location. And Venable helping out Zimmerman right there by chasing a ball.
Tried to pull that pitch that was tailing away. Rendon to LaRoche, 2 down.
He just still hasn't gauged that medium throw with that third base arm. And you see the look from LaRoche after he catches the bullet from Rendon. It's funny to watch these two interact because it's the closer throw that gets LaRoche. So the big third base arm real close to LaRoche, throws it hard, and then he gets a look back from the Gold Glove first baseman.
You know, Davey said yesterday, when you play second base every day, your arm actually gets a little weaker than when at third, and you've got to work on some things. during batting practice and throwing on the side to keep your arm as strong as it needs to be. Davey went through that transition back in the mid-60s. He went to the Caribbean over one winter to play second base alongside Luis Aparicio to get tips on how to play second and turn double plays with a very good shortstop.
Yeah, if you play there too long, it'll actually fall off.
Well, I'm quoting the manager, not me. And then Davey also said he got major league tips from Bill Mazeroski and Bobby Richardson on how to play second base and play it well. That's Carlos Quentin. And playing deep out there, Harper throw well offline, and Quentin slides anyway, a 2-out double. Bryce was playing way off the line. And Carlos Quentin, who homered his last time up last night, has 2 consecutive extra base hits.
Well, you could see Carlos Quentin coming around first base. He was looking to see if Bryce Harper had the ball yet. He almost missed first. Took a curious turn around the bag, and when Harper got that ball, I thought he was out. Throw off the line. But Bryce hustling down there. See a lot of left fielders just let that go into the corner. Sure double. Bryce hustling down there, but a good throw has Quentin by a couple of steps.
Yeah, here's Chase Headley. He'll go up swinging and foul it out of play. That's something when an outfielder is in the head of a base runner who's looking for the outfielder rather than the first base bag. So you know, guys are aware of how Bryce can throw. Headley, as mentioned, 2 for 12 career against Jordan Zimmerman.
And I say a good throw from 336 feet away would have had him.
Yeah. Headley, by the way, on the left side, only hitting .211 this year, and that's uncharacteristic for him. Maybe Cabrera back in their lineup gives him more RBI opportunities. But the Nats have their leadoff guy 0 for 6 in this series. And now Zimmerman has their cleanup man 0-2. '86 low and in.
It's a good take. We've seen a lot of left-handed hitters swing over that slider on the back knee with 2 strikes.
Another off speed. That was up and in. Close.
And back-to-back sliders on the inner half. First one 86, this one 85. Just off the plate.
Challenge fastball at 94. Inside the numbers with STG Inc. Against the slider the last 3 seasons. Perfecting that pitch, FP, as you said, lots of swings and misses for that 182.
Yeah, he's been able to throw it for a strike when he wants to, a ball when he wants to, and it's been his out pitch against lefties with 2 strikes. And very important today that you keep your ball club off the field on defense on a warm day like this. This start time, Jordan Zimmerman's tempo is going to come in big today.
That's perfect. A changeup that goes to the outside corner right at the knees. Tyler Clippard would like this one. in quite some time. And the lineup brought to you by Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. Jason Worth is on fire. 395 over his last 12 games. The on-base percentage nearly 470, scoring runs, driving them in, and his batting average sitting at 286. Only change today, Kurt Suzuki for Wilson Ramos. And now whatever Davey does, he puts a quality, top quality major league catcher behind the plate. Former Nat Jason Marquis. 2-9 here when he was hurt in 2010. 8-5 before the Nats traded him to Arizona after 20 starts the following year. Denard Span has never faced him. In fact, only a few Nats have, which is kind of unusual. Only Zimmerman, LaRoche, Worth, and Tracy on the current roster have faced Jason Marquis, who careers 121 and 113. Career start number 307. 1-1.
Okay, 18th start of the year for Marquis, 7th on the road, 307th career start. The 34-year-old was tagged for the loss last time out on July 1st at Marlins Park. Allowed 4 runs on 5 hits over 6 1/3.
Span hits it up the middle. To his right, Logan Forsythe. And he pulled Guzman off the bag and he made the tag.
This is a guy, Jason Marquis, who last time out walked a career-high 7. He threw 110 pitches in 6 1/3. And I think Nats fans know all about him. He'll sink the fastball, cut the fastball, down and away for the most part. Has that sweeping slider. But last time out, he couldn't command the two-seam fastball to his arm side, especially lefties.
And you and I were a little amazed when we looked up some numbers today. He's thrown the most walks in the league at 60, and that's 14 more than Edinson Volquez. 60 walks, 66 strikeouts in 101 innings. Ian Desmond's batting average up over 280 now. Rips it to short. Backhand Cabrera. 2 outs.
So the defense for the Padres behind Jason Marquis. Quentin Venable, D'Onofrio in the outfield. Cabrera, Headley left side. Forsythe, Guzman the right side. And Yasmani Grandal behind the plate.
Well, Davey Johnson has said that he'd like to give Bryce a day or 2 off. And today might have been scheduled to be the first day of that. Bryce said he wanted to play. Davey put him in there. He may get to sit against a rookie left-hander Robbie Erlin tomorrow. But Bryce Harper's in the lineup.
Texted his manager, said, play me or trade me. Davey said, well, I can't trade you, so you're in the lineup.
Davey didn't have to check with Mike Rizzo on that one. Bryce hitting 260. Hit the home run, 0 for his last 19. But he's had a sac fly, a couple of walks. And a couple of his walks have been outstanding in terms of pitches just off the outside part of the plate that he's laid off.
Well, he missed 31 games. It's going to take a second to get your timing back. The league's at full speed this time of year. You're facing guys that are at their peak, especially pitchers. I think that's what made Jason Worth in his return last year after the broken wrist that remarkable, because he just picked up right where he left off. It's not that easy.
2-1 to Harper. And he lines it right where they had shifted. Chase Headley well off the bag at third. Nats go in order. No score early. second, presented by Luna. Call for the Luna Double. Get your second room of flooring free at 877-241-LUNA. Jordan Zimmerman, 20 pitches, 15 strikes. Everett Cabrera battled him before flying out. And then he had to pitch off the stretch to Headley before he struck him out. So a couple of long at-bats early. Unbelievable. Looking for 15 in a row here at home. And a 2.51 ERA. Unreal run of success in this ballpark. You know, and it's not like this is the biggest park in the major leagues either. It's a fair ballpark. Marquis, 9 pitches, 5 strikes.
Well, they're announcing the All-Star team at 6:30, right?
Can't wait. He's got a good high fastball going, and Jesus Guzman can't get to it. 28-year-old infielder-outfielder from Caracas, Venezuela. With the Giants organization for a while. Padres signed him as a minor league free agent 2 years ago. That was close with 93. Well, you love having a guy in the mound if you're a defensive player on a day like this who works as fast as Jordan does. Out to left center. And that is not catchable. It's going to hop, touch the wall. Coming over to help is Harper, and he'll grab it. Rifles it right to Desmond. Leadoff double, Guzman. And he has a modest 3-game hitting streak, but he's 6 for his last 8.
It's good hustle by Harper getting over there because that ball bounced off the fence funny. You see the pitch from Zimmerman, elevated, Guzman all over it, and he splits the gap perfectly. But because Denard Span went so hard for this ball, it took a big kick off the track, and if Bryce Harper's not there, that's a leadoff triple.
Great throw to the cutoff man. Padres 2 for 5 to start the game, and here's Chris Denorfia.
Well, you know, runs are at a premium when you're facing Jordan Zimmerman, so you understand why Denorfia squared right there, but on the other side, you have to hope that Jason Marquis can hold down the Nats offense. An offense with the last 6 games is hitting .291 with 40 runs scored.
Fastball way inside, 2-1. Denorfia, 3 hits last night. 2 doubles, scored 2 runs. 1 for 3 career against Jordan. Saw an outside pitch, thought he could take it to right, but it had so much break on it, he couldn't reach it.
That's a difference in Jordan Zimmerman. We just showed that slider stat, 2-1 count. You think, well, for sure I'm getting a fastball. And look how late that slider breaks. It was straight for about 55 feet. Subtle break at the end. I mean, even on the Exmo, that looked like a fastball.
Breaking ball away. Jordan couldn't get it. Rendon does, and he needs that rifle arm to get it over to LaRoche. And Guzman over to third base, 1 out.
Good at bat by Denorfia right there, moving the runner.
That's his game. He's that kind of guy. So Sunday, July 21st, first Sunday back after the break against the Dodgers. First 10,000 kids 12 and under receive a kid's arm sleeve presented by the Potomac Nationals. While supplies last, some restrictions apply. You must enter through the center field gates to receive that promo item. Some of the game tickets start at $10.
That's a cool giveaway.
Yeah.
I want one. Even though I don't have a kid's arm. You find a kid's arm.
Can you put it on either side, I suppose?
I don't know.
We'll see.
I'm pretty sure it's amphibious.
But if you put one of those on, you can show off your guns on Sunday, the 21st. Logan Forsythe, second baseman. Nats pretty sure they won't lose 1-0 today. Davies not playing the infield in here, and Most managers don't want to play the infield in early, but it oftentimes will depend on who you're facing. No slight on Marquis, but Davey knows that Jordan Zimmerman on a regular day is not going to give up a whole lot.
Well, it depends on how your offense is going, too.
Yeah. Zimmerman's got it. He looked the runner, didn't throw in behind him. But the important thing is a second out on a very good reaction play as the hot corner moved over to the mound.
Well, sometimes you look a runner back and sometimes you scare a runner back. And watch Jordan Zimmerman right here scare Guzman with the death stare to third, and then he just goes to first. I mean, that takes looking a runner back to a whole new level. And he scrambled back to the bag.
And even though Guzman was a bit off the bag, that was a gamble throw because you got to turn kind of an awkward way to make that throw, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, that was just John Wayne looking the runner back at third.
Yasmani Grandal, the catcher, batting .218, seeing Zimmerman pitcher to hitter for the first time.
When you think about it, Jordan kind of pitches like John Wayne every fifth day out there.
Well, Pilgrim, the count's 0-2. But he does so many things to help himself. Good bunter, good hitter, good base runner, good fielder.
Good everythinger.
Grandal hitting .218, switch hitting catcher, .205 from the left side. He's 24 years of age, from Havana. Moved to the Miami area with his family at the age of 10. Suzuki held it there for a while just in case he might get the call. Bruce Streckman. Nissan will track it.
Yeah, maybe top of the zone. Everything elevated in this sequence. You see pitch track, everything to this point right at the top of the strike zone.
He's liking that slider today, isn't he?
I've been throwing it with 2 strikes.
Ah, look at that hook. Drops it in, puts another 0 on the board despite a leadoff double. You're watching an all-star. Roshanworth. Some early game notes for you. The Nats, with Ian Desmond leading the way. Zimmerman, LaRoche, Worth lately, even Denard Span. A lot of extra base hits since the end of June. Everett Cabrera, 75 bags the last 2 seasons, and he stole 208 in the minor leagues. And then Ryan Zimmerman, punishing San Diego pitching. He likes Colorado. He likes San Diego and their pitching staffs, it appears. And he'll lead off here. Ryan's also been successful against Jason Marquis, 5 for 15 career with a homer and 4 RBIs.
Well, we've seen Jason Marquis pitch so much. The game plan against him is just look for something up. When anything starts around mid-thigh or your knee, you know it's going to drop out of the zone. And there was times as a national when he went out there, and you and I together would think he had no-hit stuff.
Yeah.
He gets that sinker going. That's really the only pitch he needs.
Ryan Zimmerman, 333 over his last 10 games with 8 RBIs. On base twice, 2 runs last night. Breaking ball, hammered up the middle, under Logan Forsythe. And Zimmerman's on base, and the Nats will be on the board.
Well, looks like he got a slider on the outer half, kind of pulled it back up the middle, hit it on the barrel. Nice job of going out there, almost hooking that slider. Good try by Forsythe, and there goes a no-hitter. Dive and play up the middle, just kind of smothers it. But Ryan Zimmerman's been swinging it well.
Here's Adam LaRoche. Padres shifting him with a man at first. Chase Headley playing at a shallow shortstop position. And then, as we mentioned earlier this week, lots of people on the right side of the infield. And I did notice, and we saw the line drive that ended the first. The Padres may be the first team to show a significant shift against Bryce Harper. Buddy Black, outstanding pitcher in his American League days, most with Kansas City. Good left-hander.
Great manager, doesn't get enough credit.
Exactly. You are exactly right.
Got a great staff, knows the game inside and out. Players love to play for him. In my opinion, one of the most underrated managers in all of baseball.
He waited for his opportunity. He was Mike Scioscia's pitching coach for 7 years. You pitched 15 years in the big leagues, you know something. Look at that double play. Nothing Ryan Zimmerman could do. He already had his leadoff, and he tried to get back. It was right to Guzman at the bag. 2 outs. Here comes the red-hot Jason Worth.
Yeah, 6 hits his last 2 games. And we're going to show you all of them. Line drive up the middle, base hit up the middle. A little 5.5 action. He's been wearing that hole out. See the patented bat flip right into your living room. Just staying on top of the baseball, staying through it, and standing tall. And the average approaching 300, 286.
Here's Worth, 2 outs, bases empty. He might be Marquis' toughest matchup today. 15 career at-bats against Jason. 8 hits, 2 homers, 4 batted in.
Now, 4 of the first 5 Nats hitters have hit the ball right on the screws. Desmond, Harper, Zimmerman, and LaRoche.
Jason Marquis has 8 career complete games, one of them in Washington on a Saturday afternoon in 2005. On a day when Dave Duncan told him to quit trying to throw the high fastball by everybody and throw sinkers all day. And he beat the 05 Nats with a complete game.
Did you see that? Started his delivery and he was still shaking off Grandal. In his motion, he shook no twice and then finally shook yes as he started his delivery to the plate.
3-1. And Worth will foul it to fill the count. A guy who can extend at bats 4 times with 10 or more pitches.
Well, we said his at-bat yesterday, first time up, was maybe the key at-bat of the game, an 11-pitch base hit in the 2nd inning. And then the line was moving after that.
Yeah, you're right. That was a big key. Worth out to right center, but that's where Venable was playing it. Didn't have to take that many steps. So the Nats have swung the bats well early against Marquis. No score. He'll lead off. Mobile security professionals. Julie with our sideline report. Good afternoon.
Hello. Good warm afternoon to you, Bob. Well, I got a chance to catch up with Jason Marquis in the visitors' dugout yesterday before the game and asked him what it was like facing his former team for the first time. And he said it was great being back here. He said he has some close friends on this team. He wanted to go around and say hello. He happens to be a big fan of Jordan Zimmerman. And he said for as hard as he throws, he better be throwing me all fastballs. So we'll see in a minute if he makes good on that. But he said it was great to be back. It's nice to be back here in Washington. As far as the weather, though, I told him it's going to be a hot one tomorrow. He said, yeah, I don't mind the humidity. It keeps me loose, keeps my body loose because I'm sweating all the time, but it can be a bit of a challenge. I asked him what he's going to be looking for in the game as far as yesterday was concerned. He said holes in batter's swing, of course.
Well, he's a New York guy. Tottenville High School, Long Island. Jason Marquis, he knows all about the humidity in this part of the country, but it is nice to play in San Diego. This guy can hit.
Well, what Julie said right there, Jason Marquis, a veteran on the mound, he reads swings in the course of a game. He's watching what you're thinking about. He sees a pull swing, he goes the other way, and he is looking for holes because he's out there doing homework every single pitch.
197 career hitter with 55 RBIs. Sets his hands up kind of like Todd Helton, doesn't he? Hands up there right behind his helmet. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I mean, it's like having 9 hitters in the lineup on a day he's starting. He'll drop the bat head and line one to right center. Worth going back, and it is over his head on one hop to the 375 mark. And the Padres have their 3rd double. Second time they've led off an inning with one. Top of the order coming up.
Well, Todd Helton will be proud of that swing. Jason Marquis got an off-speed pitch, caught it out front, and split the gap perfectly. And you called it early. A warm day, ball's carrying. I didn't think that was getting in the gap initially and went all the way to the wall.
And as we've talked about before, when it really gets hot here, right center is a jet stream in this ballpark. Here's Eveth Cabrera, who flied to Worth first time. Shows bunt, squares, and fouls it.
You got to be careful when you're sacrifice bunting not to step on home plate, and Cabrera was very close with his back foot right there, stepping across, almost stepped on the plate. You step on the plate, you're out.
Bouncer behind the runner. Desmond, 1 out. Well done by Cabrera, giving Venable and Quentin RBI opportunities here in the 3rd. How would you like a free New Era ball cap from the Nats? It's the midseason flex pack. Pick 3 games, you get the ball cap. TheNationals.com/flex address online is where you find out about it. Flash your Natitude with a brand new ball cap. Venable, bouncing ball, Rendon first time. He gets jammed and fouls it back.
A little reach back 95 from Jordan.
He's had to pitch off the stretch a lot here early. "20 pitches first inning, 17 in the second." Sounded like a busted bat. Strike 2.
Make a play. Nice. And a couple of fastballs on the inner half. You see him go in with the heater and then drop the slider under the hands for strike 3. But right now, safe to say he's looking for the punch out.
.76 and Venable just got the stick on it.
66% fastball, 34% slider curve change. All the off speed's been good. Changeup, got to strike out with it. Curveball, got to strike out with it. Looking for a strikeout right here, right now.
High heat, and nowhere close to that was Will Venable. A strikeout in each inning when Jordan has needed one.
We'll give Kurt Suzuki and Jordan Zimmerman credit. If you remember Will Venable's first at-bat, the second strike before he grounded out to second was this pitch. Chased a high fastball, couldn't get on top, so in a 2-strike count where you need a strikeout, you remember the first at-bat and go with that same pitch.
$37 for every strikeout this year by a Nationals pitcher. D.C. area Toyota dealers helping children and their families. To the Children's Inn at NIH Toyota, K's for kids. Big breaking ball to Carlos Quentin for a strike. He doubled left field the first time. Well, that breaking ball made the heater look about 98 or 99. We'll track it with Mercedes-Benz.
Boy, the good ones just turn it up a notch when there's a runner in scoring position. And right now, Jordan Zimmerman looks like he did in the playoffs when he came out of the bullpen.
And Jason Marquis has to stand around at second base and now third for a long time in this inning. It's 0-2 to Quentin. And a ground ball. Zimmerman's got to make a play with the glove and the throw. Top of the third is over.
Masterful.
Second consecutive leadoff double. And Jordan says nobody home. Help from his defense here. Tables and Dining, the ultimate triple play. Hollywood Casino, Charlestown Races bring you some of the league leading numbers. And over the last week or so, even considering they were shut out one game and scored another game, the Nats are bashing suddenly.
Yeah, 13 runs, 10 runs, 0 runs, 1, and then 8 and 8. Over the last 6 games, they're hitting .291, and they've scored 40 runs. But I think even more important than that, a .362 on base percentage as a club.
Yeah. So
Davey Johnson's offense back together again and putting up some serious numbers of late. Yeah, last 12 games, .280 average, 65 runs. Look at the extra base hits.
Team batting average just under .240 now. We haven't talked about that number all season.
I saw this stat too today before the game. In wins, the Nats hitting .278. In losses, .197. So bats go, they go.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
And on some of those nights without offense, the pitching has been able to bail them out. But they put a lot of pressure on the pitching staff this year to be just about flawless. Marquis only faced 6 batters thanks to the line drive double play off the bat of Adam LaRoche. And as FP noted, second inning, 6 hitters. Ball's been hit pretty well on just about every contact here. So here's Anthony Rendon, who's 5 for his last 34, but still batting .301. '88 from Jason Marquis. 34 years of age now. Broke in with the Braves in 2000. That ball was hanging, and Anthony Rendon just lines it to left. His 41st big league hit in his 36th game.
Leadoff man on for the second inning in a row. Last inning, Ryan Zimmerman. This inning, Anthony Rendon. Got a cement mixer right there from Jason Marquis. A slider that didn't slide. Look at the top hand rollover. And a perfectly placed line drive for the first hit of the night for Anthony Rendon.
Next up, the suddenly well-rested Kurt Suzuki. He was doing yeoman duty for this ball club, playing every day. Just a break here and there with Jonathan Solano. But pretty much the everyday guy with Ramos out for quite a while. Now they can complement each other. And Davey's going to have a fresh receiver every day.
They just sit around the dugout and say, "You're really good? No, you're really good. No, you're really good."
COMPLEMENT.
All right.
They go together well. But I bet they throw around some compliments.
Sure.
1 ball, 1 strike. By the way, you're having a fine game today.
You're the best, Bob. We compliment each other so well.
Joe, my boots. Where are my boots? 1-1. And Suzuki looks it all the way in. Good take. That was borderline. 2 balls, 1 strike. How about 2 good hitting pitchers in the game today? Marquis just got his 5th base hit. Jordan has 6 after a 3-hit game this week. Target away. 3-1.
Good take. So Marquis will do it. He'll tease that strike zone, try to shave off corners and get you to get yourself out. He made a career at that, and I think guys like Kurt Suzuki, Jason Worth, Rendon, Suzuki, you wait them out, you're going to get a pitch.
A lot of walks in 101 innings. And Jason's not a strikeout guy, but he would be the first to tell you that's not an acceptable number.
Well, you know what I saw last game against the Marlins is Yasmani Grandal was setting off the plate way too far for Jason Marquis' sinker. When you have a guy with a two-seam fastball that moves that much. As a catcher, you just set up right down the middle and let the pitch work. You don't really need to go out and get on a corner.
Suzuki pounds it into the left field corner. Rendon heading for third. He'll be held by Trent Jewett. And Kurt Suzuki is 8 for his last 21. And the crowd is roaring here. 11th double this year.
And somewhere in the Nats dugout, Wilson Ramos is saying, nice swing, Kurt Suzuki.
Complimenting him.
Yes, got a pitch up at a 3-2 count. Maybe try to do a little too much with the 3-1 pitch, shortened up for the 3-2 pitch. And wrote it down the corner for a double. Second and third, nobody out, game on for the Nats.
Padres play the corner infielders in, but this is a pitcher who can hack and do some damage. Jordan has 1 RBI this year, 10 in his still young major league hitting career. Bottom of the order, creating a golden opportunity here.
Ground ball to second right here is golden.
Pitch up, 0-2. Jordan couldn't get it.
You just play pepper with the second baseman right here. You get yourself an RBI. You move the trail runner Suzuki over to third with 1 out. You get both jobs done with 1 swing, but now in a 2-strike count, just trying to put it in play.
And he strikes out. Marquis saving some good breaking balls for his counterpart. And that's Jason Marquis' first strikeout, bringing in Denard Span.
Well, I know it's only the 3rd inning, but against Jordan Zimmerman, I would be tempted if I was Bud Black to bring my infield in here against Denard Span. Just the fact that Jordan has proven already in this season and in this game that runs are going to be hard to come by. The Padres offense, as we've chronicled in their losing streak, has been struggling. And 1 run might be enough. You never know.
Well, Denard Span's driven in some runs lately. He has 22 on the year.
The only danger of that is it, opens up holes for 2 runs instead of 1.
Target away on 1-0, and that's way outside. Rendon back in, standing up, and Grandal got that down there in a hurry.
Yeah, he's got the throwing lane already created, and you look at Headley right there scooting back to the bag.
Ooh.
The pickoff was on, and that was close.
Two balls, no strikes. Right-handed hitter coming up next, but who wants to mess with Ian Desmond with the bases loaded? What an at-bat. Denard Span walks to load the bags. Marquis' 61st walk of the year. And a big spot for the Nats early in this game with one of their hottest hitters coming in. We welcome those of you on Masson who watched the Yankees beat the Orioles 5-4. Bottom of the 3rd inning here at Nationals Park. Game 2 of a series with San Diego. Nats won last night. Now they've loaded the bases with 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd. On a Rendon single, a Suzuki double, and a Denard Span walk, and here's Ian Desmond.
Well, that was an unintentional, intentional walk to Denard Span. Wanted nothing to do with him, and he wanted the right-on-right matchup with Ian Desmond, and you see, first pitch sliding.
Desmond bounced to short first time, hit the ball sharply. That was his first career at bat against Jason Marquis.
I think Carp, even more so than the right-on-right, Jason Marquis, being the smart veteran that he is, knows that he's not going to get Denard Span to chase. And we just talked about waiting him out. He'd rather have an aggressive hitter in Ian Desmond than a patient hitter in Denard Span, because he wants guys to force the issue. Getting back to that's how he's made his living.
Yeah, and he's made his living getting ground balls over the years.
Whether it works or not, that's what he wanted.
1-1. Slow roller. No chance for a double play, so they come home, and Rendon's out, and hurt is Yasmani Grandal. Rendon's spikes came right into his lower leg, and Grandal, the catcher, is hurt on a 3-2 fielder's choice. He was blocking the plate, and Rendon came feet first right into it.
Yeah, he was exposed right there on the stretch. Off the end of the bat. Guzman with a good throw, and he had to pick it and stay in there late. And it's a clean slide by Rendon. It's all he did was go straight into home plate. But I think the fact that the throw was in the dirt and he had to pick it and maybe stay in there a little longer than he wanted to.
Ooh.
And you see the foot on the back foot, and that's ugly.
Foot turning at a very odd angle.
Well, I was expecting a lot worse on that last replay. I almost didn't look. Not that it was good by any means, but I thought it was going to be a little more graphic than that. But when you look at Grandal, he is in some kind of pain.
They're already carrying his equipment to the dugout. And of course, their other catcher is veteran Nick Hundley.
I mean, you just saw Anthony Rendon went straight in there, and nobody feels worse than he does right now. But it was a clean slide right across home plate. You can see the slide marks. I think sometimes in those situations, if you go out of your way to get somebody and break up the double play at home, then you can question it. But Rendon just simply slid right into home plate.
They just called out two of the bigger men on this club to possibly help Grandal off the field. Glenn Hoffman and last night's starter Andrew Kashner. They came out of the dugout, and there will be some assistance needed on this one.
So I was focusing on the ankle, and I'm starting to wonder, I'm sure people at home are thinking this too, if it was the knee.
Because of the way he was planted there?
Yeah, I was focusing on, I thought he hurt his ankle real bad, but maybe the knee caught the brunt of that just on the twistage. Let's see it one more time. So clean slide. And I'm thinking it might be the knee.
And I'm telling you, Rendon coming home fast. I mean, he slid right through him. Oh. So 24-year-old catcher Yasmani Grandal out of the game. Waiting for Nick Hundley to come out. And to reset the situation for you, Bryce Harper will be coming up. With the bases loaded, 2 outs now. Hundley actually playing catch with Jesus Guzman, the first baseman right now. In the finale of the series tomorrow, Steven Strasburg will go after his hometown team again, beat them in San Diego already this year. Robbie Aaron, rookie lefty, will go. He's 1-1. And then Detweiler and Lannon, Taylor Jordan and Cole Hamels, Gio and Cliff Lee, Jordan Zimmerman and Kyle Kendrick in Philadelphia. as the Nationals will play 4 consecutive night games at Citizens Bank Park starting on Monday night before they'll finish before the break with 3 at Miami. So Hundley's warmed up. He'll go visit with Jason Marquis now. And they'll take on Bryce Harper.
And Marquis trying to wiggle out of this jam right now. If you remember Harper's first at bat, hard line drive to Chase Headley at third. Shifted over in the hole. Kind of playing shortstop. So one more big out in this sequence for Marquis. And we wish nothing but the best for Yasmani Grandal.
It'll also be interesting to see exactly what defense, what configuration the Padres will play against Bryce Harper. With the bases loaded, do you have to play it straight up? Because they've been shifting on him in this series, not as much as Adam LaRoche, but at least a modified shift.
I think maybe some people new to baseball also, Carp, might not realize that, you know, as a runner on third base and the forced play at home, it's just like a double play up the middle. It's your job to break up the double play at home. You're supposed to cleanly go get the catcher and knock him down just like you would a second baseman or a shortstop, turning 2 up the middle.
Well, Guzman knew he had no chance for 2 anywhere, so he got the lead runner. And here's Bryce Harper. Padres infield in more of a traditional alignment against a left-hander. And they've thrown Bryce a lot of off-speed stuff in this series. He had a sac fly last night, went 0 for 4, and lined out to Headley, first time up today. Off speed again. Way inside. Didn't miss him by much. Bryce didn't try to sell anything to the umpire there.
I heard the 2 sounds. One was the dirt and one was the glove.
Marquis, a lot of pitches in this inning. Started this inning with 21. He's at 42. And a 2-1 is low.
That's a good take right there by Harper.
Nissan will track it.
We talked about waiting him out, and he wants you to swing. He wants you to be aggressive, especially in these situations. And Bryce Harper got a changeup right there at 76 and spit on it to get to a 3-1 count.
Will he see a fastball?
Well, I'm betting heater right here. If I'm hitting, throws me a changeup, he's got me.
He threw a changeup and walked in the first run of the game. That is respect. And Bryce Harper collects his 26th RBI.
Well, we talked about the 60 walks leading the National League. 61 now for Marquis, and a great patient at bat by Bryce Harper. When you're in a scuffle like that, you want your hits. You want to do something big. You want to drive in everybody. And for Bryce Harper to have that mature of an at-bat right there, just to take the walk, take what the game gives you, shows you what he's all about, and it's winning.
And I've heard you say before, an at-bat like that can get you going, even when you don't swing the bat and drive in runs.
Absolutely.
So here's Ryan Zimmerman, singled up the middle first time. He'll take a fastball for a strike. That's the pitch that Marquis wouldn't throw to Harper. As mentioned earlier, Ryan has 8 RBIs in his last 10 games.
It also shows you the mentality of this offense right now. When about a month ago it was, there's no way the guy behind me is getting it done. I have to do it right now. And they're not doing that anymore. That's how you keep the line moving, trusting the guy behind you. And we didn't see that a whole lot in the first 2 months.
Big gap in left center. That's outside, and the count's 1-1. Good take, ball 2. Now the runners, 2 of them who walk, span at third. Desmond, the fielder's choice, second base. And then Bryce Harper, the RBI walk. Zimmerman pulls it. And a lot of hook on that ball. Well foul. Counts 2-2.
Just caught the slider out front a little bit too quick. Maybe backed up a little bit on Marquis, but look at the location mistake. About a 2.5 glove mistake. Hundley wanted on the outer half, and that was on the inner half.
It's got to be a horrible feeling for a catcher reaching for that ball, knowing it's probably not going to reach your mitt. 2-2 count now. Zimmerman strikes out. Marquis throws 89 by him. The Nats will pick up 1 run, long inning, and a slim lead into the middle innings.
Between DC and New York. Book now at Amtrak.com. Kurt Suzuki double and a run. That's up 1-0. Jason Marquis wiggling out of a jam right there with minimal damage. And Jordan Zimmerman getting out of some jams of his own. Pitched around 3 doubles in the first 3 innings. Carlos Quentin with a double. Then he goes change up right there to Chase Headley for strike 3. Then a little backdoor curveball action to Grandal for strike 3. And then in the middle of a jam in the third, leadoff double, pitched around that as well. Got the 5-3 put out of Carlos Quentin. So Jordan Zimmerman getting the job done, working hard. The off speed today has been impressive.
51 pitches, 39 strikes. What a ratio. It'll be Headley, Guzman, and Denorfia, top of the 4th inning now. Jason Marquis just had a 28 pitch, bottom of the 3rd.
I'm going a little Acela Express Monday up to Philadelphia.
Well, I was going to say, some people can hop off in Philly.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing Monday.
AT&T, fact of the game. 3 for 3 and got the win last time out. Odalis Perez in the first year of this ballpark did that for the 08 Nats.
Anytime you get on there with Odalis Perez, you know you're doing something right offensively. He could swing it.
One ball to 1 strike to Chase Headley. That's a curveball that's low and in, 2-1. He's got some kind of hook going today, and really the curveball and the slider.
Well, don't forget the changeup to Headley, too. So I think all three secondary pitches for Jordan, maybe the best we've seen. Good feel for all the off-speed.
And he tries to get him up and in with a heater at 93. So Chase Headley has seen everything Jordan Zimmermann has. Jordan, by the way, making his 99th career start. Jesus Guzman waiting here in the fourth. Career record of 36-29. Wow. Tried to throw that changeup right in the outside corner, just missing. And he'll go challenge right there with 94, Adam LaRoche. For him, easy play. Nats Live free post-game concert series continues tomorrow. 1:35 game against the Padres, and third day will be on the field after the game to inspire you. Some of the Nationals will be on stage to chat and to share their faith during the concert. Game tickets start at $10. Nationals.com/Nats Live. You must have a valid game ticket for tomorrow's game to stay for the music. Here's Guzman, doubled left center gap first time. Scheduled to appear tomorrow, Adam LaRoche, Denard Span, Ian Desmond, Craig Stammen. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, Suzuki and Zimmermann at it again. No idea what's coming in any sequence. We talk about this all the time. These two and the chemistry they have and the way they mix it up so well. Never fall into a pattern. We've seen 2-1 sliders today. Change-ups out of nowhere in 2-strike counts. Such the same page, and just never really know what's coming.
Yeah, you've tried to figure him out. Just think about hitters who don't get to see him every fifth day.
Yeah, it's just tough. I mean, you got to get on the first hittable fastball. And if you foul it off or take it for a strike, you're in trouble.
Off speed 85, a beauty. Strikeout number 4. I mean, we are seeing Jordan Zimmermann, the pitcher, not just the thrower, time after time here.
When you talk about what he's gone through in the Tommy John surgery, the shutdown after 160 innings, and now a couple of years back to back without having to worry about that, it makes you wonder what Steven Strasburg is going to be like next year.
Yeah, because Jordan was exactly 1 year ahead of Steven.
And last year he was just like Strasburg in the fact that it was one pitch or something bad happened to him where he'd lose a game. So now 2 years post Tommy John, look at the difference. Get you excited about the 2014 version of Strasburg.
Yep. You know, nobody said a word when the Nats shut Jordan down after 161 1/3 innings 2 years ago.
No, but they're saying a word about him right now. He's an all-star.
That's right. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 hopper. Ryan Zimmermann actually had to leap for that ball. And that's 9 of the last 10 for Jordan Zimmermann. LaRoche, Worth, and Rendon ahead. Bottom of the 4th, Nats on top.
Benitez going to melt. They stopped to eat something.
Wow. A Gatorade cooler tossed at the other presidents. No idea who the insect was that helped him out there or followed him home.
Well, that cooler was full of pizza before he threw it, and it's empty after he ate it all.
Boy, look at the detail on the Exmo. Teddy's glasses. Abe doing a rollover. George
taking a peek out of his neck. Did you see that?
George about to go down like a cherry tree. Bottom of the fourth, Adam LaRoche. You know, the race is turning into a demolition derby on almost a nightly basis here.
Well, those are the good ones. I want to see some damage. Well, we got motion going on defense. Did you see that?
Yeah, Headley and Cabrera just changed positions.
Yep.
Cabrera playing as a normal shortstop, and Headley goes right in front of umpire Dave Rackley.
I've been saying that all year. I want to see that. If you're going to shift, I want to see some motion. And Chase Headley just went into motion.
Yeah, you did bring that up. Yeah. You know what? I know what happened. Ron Renicky left a note for Bud Black because Ron Renicky shifts his defense as much as anybody.
I think it was two players in motion at once, and that's illegal motion.
Adam LaRoche slaps one to right. It is gone. RBI number 40 on his 13th homer. Viva LaRoche. 2-0 Washington.
Take the helmet off. We'll check out the swing again. First time up, line drive, double play to first. Second time up, get a little elevation. And how easy was that home run for LaRoche? Just caught her out front. You see the leverage, the balance, and the beautiful swing from Adam LaRoche once again.
And a ball ripped to deep short by Jason Worth, and he's on with a single. Great range by Cabrera, and Jason Worth continues to wear out that area between third and short.
The Nats are swinging the bats once again here today.
5 base hits now.
And Jason Worth has just changed his number to 55 and put a period between the fives because he is wearing out the 5.5 hole.
Here's Anthony Rendon, who lined one right through there, leading off the third, led to the 1-run inning. Important to have a lead with the shadows creeping here. It's going to get different for hitters late in the afternoon here. 5:21 local time right now.
Good point. Shadows plus Jordan Zimmerman equal no bueno for the Padres.
We talked about the walks. The other thing that's hurt Marquis this year, the home runs. He's now given up 17. By the way, Staten Island, New York, not Long Island, as I reported earlier. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a good eye by the rookie to get the count in his favor. Rendon hits it hard out to center. Backing up, Will Venable for the first out. I mean, loud outs for this one so far.
Let's watch Adam LaRoche from the side, and I want you to watch how he walks into this pitch. Look at his back heel come up, and the timing to where the hands drop, the foot comes down. 87-mile-an-hour pitch from Jason Marquis, and just catches it out in front. But watching that replay, and we just talk about momentum, timing, and walking right in to a location mistake. It was supposed to be down the way. Marquis threw it right down the middle. And good hitters like LaRoche don't miss those. Just an interesting look at the side swing of Adam LaRoche.
Such a classic swing. By the way, that was his 3rd career home run against Jason Marquis. 1 on, 1 out. Number 8 hitter Kurt Suzuki, and he doubled into the left field corner first time. Nats have out-hit the Padres 5-3 to lead 2-0. Up the middle, Marquis, good play. Leads his shortstop to the bag for a nifty 1-6-3. That's his second double play today, but the Nats lead by 2. Adam LaRoche with his 13th of the year. Career home run number 210. 2-0 Nats. Honor our troops and our wounded warriors here at Nationals Park. Today, it's our DynCorp International Troop Recognition. At DynCorp, we serve today for a better tomorrow. Waving their caps, and we salute them, and Adam LaRoche gave them a one-gun salute with a home run into the Nats bullpen to make this a 2-0 game. What a summer he's having. Yes. I'm going to put a calendar in his locker next year and say April 1st is June 1st. I mean, it's amazing how he turns his seasons around. But you talk about it all the time, the handicap thing. You know, players always get to where they're going to get.
Yeah.
Who's a better example?
Track record if you're healthy. It all depends on your health. Guys that have been around and put up numbers always do. Regardless of starting out slow or starting out hot, you always get to your numbers.
Top of the 5th underway to Logan Forsythe, the batter, robbed of a hit up the middle and an RBI when Jordan Zimmerman stabbed his one hopper first time. Wow, that was way low and away, and Logan Forsythe not close to it. Evens the count. Mercedes will track this one away.
Lots of late movement on this slider from Zimmerman. Whole sequence away, and that was never really a strike.
That's Nick Hundley who will bat for the first time. He threw him a 3-2 changeup and walked him. So that breaks a streak of 6 consecutive batters retired. Jordan had retired 9 of the last 10. Inside the numbers with STG, the Padres this season, nightmare of a start, 10 under. Then they go 12 over, and now they're 9 under lately. So they've been the streakiest team in the National League this year. But they're only 5.5 behind the Diamondbacks in the Wild West.
They just had a lot of injuries and haven't been able to overcome them.
So Nick Hundley, the hitter, hitting .235 with 5 home runs. $29-year-old from Corvallis, Oregon. Padres drafted him in the 2nd round back in '05, and he's been in the big league since '08.
You see Jordan Zimmerman shaking his head right there. That was a slider. It stayed right out over the plate. 0-2 pitch. He wanted that down the way and just kind of spun it in there. Got away with one.
And the 0-2.
It's such a nice job of regrouping. A curious pitch selection on the 3-2 pitch to Logan Forsythe, as you said. Up by 2, went with the off speed to 3-2 count. It just gets right back up on that mound. You don't see any change in demeanor to an 0-2 count.
Runner going at a good jump. Suzuki, no chance. Made a good throw and a good pickup by Rendon as it came skipping in. Logan Forsythe with the bag, his 3rd of the year.
A good jump because Jordan Zimmerman is so quick to the plate, enables Kurt Suzuki to almost have a shot at Forsythe. Good pick by Rendon, good tag. You see the jump, but Zimmerman quick to the plate. Suzuki has a good pitch to throw on. There was a short hop to Rendon, who makes it closer than it probably should have been. Nice pick.
1-2 now to Hundley. And then Hundley fouling that ball and not feeling too good about that.
The 3rd inning out of 5 played where the Padres have had a runner on 2nd and nobody out. Leadoff double in the 2nd. A leadoff double in the 3rd. A walk and a stolen base here in the 5th.
Padres are getting that pitch count up there on Jordan Zimmerman. 15 pitches in this inning without an out. 82 on the day. He's made 17 starts this year and gone at least 6 innings in 15 of those. On a slow roller, Desmond, 1 play first base, makes it well. Forsythe to 3rd. Here's our PNC minor league report, and it's kind of symbolic today because Zach Walters is the man the Nats got in exchange for Jason Marquis on July 30th of 2011. So at Syracuse, hitting low 250s. Look at the power numbers, though. We saw Zach in spring training. Good shortstop, good fundamental guy, on fire lately. That's from PNC Bank. For the achiever in you, 23-year-old Zach Walters from Cheyenne, Wyoming. Strike one to Marquis.
Well, the third time the Padres have advanced a leadoff double to third base with one out. Jordan Zimmerman trying to go John Wayne mode one more time.
That's an RBI. Desmond on the ground ball by Marquis. It's a 2-1 ball game. And for Jason Marquis, second RBI this year, 56th of his major league career. Top of the order now with the bases empty. 9 ground ball outs, by the way, for Jordan today. You know, they say about good pitchers, you better get them early. When you look at those numbers, how do you do that?
Well, I think those numbers the third time around are inflated in a couple of starts to where Jordan had a big lead and he just pounded the strike zone with his fastball and got hurt by it.
Yeah, his last one against Milwaukee, one of those, the one at Baltimore.
I guarantee if you look at the close games third time around, that's when he really bears down and does a nice job of cutting through big time lineups by changing his routine and his repertoire.
Yeah, good call. Everth Cabrera, 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's flied out to right, grounded out to short. Things happen quickly when Jason Marquis is on the mound, and as a rule, when Jordan is as well. He'll fade that changeup low and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes here in the 5th. Well, Steve McCaddy right in the middle of his big 3. Gio last night, Jordan, and then Strasburg tomorrow. He goes fastball on 3-2. Left field. Bryce Harper catches the fair ball near the line. So Jordan gets through 5. He's only given up a run on 3 hits. Adam LaRoche and that leadoff homer last inning, the difference in this game. Jordan Zimmerman leads off, bottom 5. Marquis struck him out with 2 men on, back in the 3rd. So the Padres able to manufacture a run there in the 5th without a hit. Walk, stolen base, couple of ground balls. Marquis a long 3rd, but pretty economical outside of that inning. 1 ball and 2 strikes now in the foul ball.
The Nats have done a nice job this homestand of answering opponents' runs in the top half of the inning. Trying to do it right here in the bottom of the 5th.
In Philadelphia tonight, Tim Hudson and Kyle Kendrick. It's a 7:15 game. Nats will be keeping an eye on that after they try to take care of business here. And a breaking ball, and look out, Denard Span. That went flying right past him and the manager in the on-deck circle.
Almost got Davey, almost got Randy Knorr. And how about last time for Jordan Zimmerman? 3 knocks. Saw the first one, there was a second one. And the 3rd one was just a hustle infield single where Aramis Ramirez took a little bit too much time.
Cue shot to the right side. Marquis over to cover, and he has to take a bullet throw from Logan Forsythe. Jordan gets down the line so well. 4-1 on that play.
I'll tell you what, this is always a tough play for a second baseman when you have to hit a moving target. And Forsythe does a nice job of just throwing it to the bag.
Ooh.
To Jason Marquis covering, and it looked like upon further review this was a lot closer than you initially thought. Just where Marquis' foot is. He caught the ball before Zimmerman got there, but it looks like both feet were almost there at the same time.
Yeah, he looked safe on the replay because Marquis had to find the bag. Well, maybe Jordan needs the breather and the shade in the dugout. Denard Span 0 for 1 with a walk. Ian Desmond to follow here in the 5th.
And I think his foot just, and I mean just, beat the foot of Jordan Zimmerman. So nice call, Quinn Walcott, right on top of it.
Strike to Span, 0-2.
Let's see, 255 third time through. And we saw that a lot when Jason was a National. That's when he gets a little bit tired and that sinker starts to elevate.
He's gone 6 innings 11 times this year, 7 or more 3 times, and just once as many as 8 innings. Span guides it left side. That's got to be a hit. Surprise Cabrera threw it. And Denard Span's on for the 2nd time.
Well, that's been the difference in Denard the last week or so, going the other way, staying on the ball, staying through the baseball, letting it travel, backing it up. And look at him dig out this pitch from Marquis. Just going down there, perfectly placed off the end of the bat. You see the extension with the release. As soon as that ball got in the hole, you knew he was safe.
Ian Desmond 0 for 2, pair of ground balls.
Put the ball in play with 2 strikes. Good things happen.
Yeah, I was just thinking if the Nats could get a couple of guys on base in this inning, really give Jordan Zimmerman a nice breather in the dugout and get him ready for inning number 6.
Good call.
And if they can get Span around the bases, the Nats are 18-10 this year when he scores a run.
A good shot of him working over there, trying to get a jump. As a base stealer, you take those first couple of steps, and if you feel like you got a good jump, keep going. If you don't, you shut it down. A lot of times it's based on the leg kick of the pitcher. Try and time him up.
One ball, one strike to Ian Desmond, who's on a 6-game hitting streak. 9 for his last 25. Jason Marquis, career against the Nationals, 5-4 with a 3.51. Goes back to the Montreal days, 21 games, 13 starts. And Desmond fouled one off Bruce Dreckman. Home plate umpire took a serious shot right there. Trying to get his breath. We'll give a breather and tell you about bringing your group to the ballpark. How about company outings, birthday parties, family reunions, any event you can think of where it's going to be the bigger the group, the better. For more information, and the bigger the savings, by the way, log on to nationals.com/groups.
And bring your chest protectors.
1-2 to Desmond. Runner on the move. Pitch outside, and Span is in there with his 9th of the year on a good hard spikes first slide.
Well, he never slides head first, says he just doesn't do it, but that was a great shot, you guys, of watching the jump of Denard Span. There's the look at home. And he's been working hard every single pitch to get there. And he finally got a good jump. Desmond takes a close pitch. And I'm sure Davey Johnson would love for Denard Span to get on a roll on the bases to where he becomes a serious threat.
Now Desmond goes defensive there and fouls it to stay alive.
This is a nice sequence of watching a base stealer working hard, not on the pitch that he stole the base, but on the pitches before, doing his work, trying to get a jump. Finally got it and stole it easy.
Desmond, right center. Falling. Base hit. Span to third. And runners at the corners with one out as Desmond's hitting streak goes to 7 games.
Check out Bryce Harper's at-bat pitch by pitch. Last time against Jason Marquis. Bases loaded. You see the first pitch changeup. And he gets another off-speed pitch to a slider on the inner half. And watch this take right here. That looks like a strike, right? Everybody at home, we're all swinging. Bryce Harper IDs it because the first pitch was the same. Wow. And gets to a 3-1 count, then gets ball 4 for the RBI walk. But that was not an easy take on the 2-1 pitch to get to 3-1, and we wanted to show you how long that pitch looked like it was a strike. Made the adjustment in the middle of the at-bat based on the first pitch.
Incredible when you watch that sequence. Harper, up the middle, base hit, another RBI. The Nats have their 2-run lead back, and there's your answer from the top of the 5th.
Bam.
RBI number 27 for Bryce.
Second RBI of the day for Bryce Harper. I always get confused on these 4 o'clock starts, whether I say day or night, whatever. Second RBI of this game for Bryce Harper. A nice job of staying up the middle, scoring Denard Span, who worked really hard to get that stolen base and to get into scoring position for Bryce Harper. And there you go.
Well, he broke the 0 for 20, but as we talked about last time, sometimes a walk in a situation like that can get a hitter going, and now he responds with an RBI hit. Still only 1 out. And here's Ryan Zimmerman. Way inside. Hundley reaching. Ball 1. Ryan has singled and struck out. 6 for 17 career against Jason Markey. And some serious speed on the bases here.
Don't sleep on Ian Desmond right now. He's working hard too to steal third.
Zimmerman. That was an out. That ball was caught in the air, and it's a double play.
Second line drive double play of the game.
5-4. Markey lucky enough for 3 double plays today.
Our favorite portion of the ball game, some Cholula hot sauce. Let's go back to the third inning. Jordan Zimmerman needing the strikeout, so he does elevator fastball to Will Venable, 95 miles an hour. Hot sauce with the iconic wooden cap, available in original flavor, chili lime, chili garlic, and chipotle. And that was chili garlic. Had bad breath all over it.
Some long innings and a good battle. And when I saw Gio this morning, I said the same thing to him. Good battle last night. He said, how about this ballpark, the way the thing is carrying in this hot weather? Gave up a couple of home runs, but he battled. Got through 7 when the pitch count was very high early. And during the between-inning break, the Nats were trying to get the attention of the Nationals. The dugout was trying to get the attention of the bullpen. And things are about to get busy out there. Jordan Zimmerman's in the mid-90s on his pitch count. 1 ball, 1 strike to Will Venable leading off the 6th.
Yeah, mid-90s, but he's had to go pedal to the metal about 3-4 innings today to get out of some leadoff doubles. Some jams with runners on third, less than 2 outs.
Yeah, the 4th is only 1, 2, 3. And the Padres don't have a lot of hits, but they foul off a lot of pitches. They have a bunch of guys who can be tough to strike out. And Jordan's had a bit of a time today putting certain guys away. Cabrera to start the game. Now time given right before a 1-2 pitch to Will Venable.
Big windup, getting loose.
Yeah, this is Ross Ohlendorf's stage of the game. Busted bat. Here comes Harper. He will get there. Bryce with a very good play. And you know that ball off the bat of the left-hander was twisting away from him. 1 out.
Boy, he had some kind of beat on that right from the get-go. Great jump by Harper. You saw this play developing. And using that big-time speed of his, speed we saw in center field last year. And the bat was trying to die a hero, but Bryce Harper said, not today. Well, watch him come flying out of nowhere for this ball. Full speed to a slide. Great play. That's a great shot right there. Look at him looking that thing in. Right in the pocket. Secure it. Great play.
And he made a good play on Cabrera on that line drive to end the 5th inning. So here's Carlos Quentin. He'll line one up the middle. And he's 2 for 3. Boy, a 2-run game. Bryce's play huge. Now they're down to their number 4 hitter, Chase Headley.
So, yeah, this isn't one of those Jordan Zimmerman games where he was on cruise control for 98 pitches. He's had to work hard. Warm day. Like you said, lots of foul balls. Got out of a few jams early. Had to go to his A stuff right out of the gate in the first, second, and third.
And Ohlendorf, of course, has done a lot of starting in his career. A visit like this also gives him more time to get ready. Although Jordan, it's not even in his mind not to finish this inning at least.
I was waiting for some sort of smile, smirk. Kurt Suzuki, Jordan Zimmerman say they have so much fun every 5th day out there. And Suzuki said something in partying that almost got a smile out of Jordan Zimmerman.
Quite a day to get Wisconsin and Hawaii together, huh?
I think his stuff has been great here today. He's just had to work harder than normal.
Headley has struck out and grounded out to LaRoche. And Jordan, 91 here in the 6th. And the game time temperature was 92. Arrives at 100 with 1 out in the 6th inning. Ground ball, can't reach it. For Rendon, 2 on, 1 out. Tying run on base.
That's decision time for Davey Johnson. He's going to come out and get his right-hander. I think that is a great move by the skipper. All the bullets were spent by Jordan Zimmerman in the first 3 innings.
Well, hopefully a W today, and hopefully a place on the All-Star team in less than an hour. Jordan Zimmerman battling on a red-hot day in Washington. As he walks to the dugout, you can tell he's spent after 101 pitches. This call to the bullpen packaged by the UPS Store. We love logistics and big windups. Nationals baseball on MASN, brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. 4 million members, 4 million stories. Navy Federal Credit Union. It is a good day to jump in. And Jordan Zimmerman, face red, Getting some shade, getting some water. 101 pitches. Great ratio. 73 strikes. And ahead 3-1. Here's Ross Ohlendorf.
Fifth appearance for Ohlendorf. You see the ERA, the average against 191. Lefty's only hitting 130 against the big windup. He'll be in the big stretch right now. Fastball, slider, change. Fastball averaging 92.5 miles an hour. That's the fastest he's thrown it on average since 2008. Facing his old team right here, right now.
Yeah, last year with the Padres, 13 games, 9 starts, high ERA, went 4-4. Pitched 49 innings for San Diego. He was at AAA for the Red Sox to start the season. Pitched at Tucson for the Padres. Fastball is in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. 6 p.m. in our nation's capital. Now the crowd is bigger than it appears, because it looks to me like a good part of the ballpark moved over to the third base side. It is really full over there in the shade.
Yeah, stadium's tilting to the left from where we're sitting. Big time lopsided.
It is a sun field over on that right side from the red porch all the way around to first base. 1 ball, 1 strike, and a long ball to left. Harper going back, and San Diego takes the lead 4-3. And Jordan Zimmerman gets a no decision. Jesus Guzman, his 5th home run of the year.
Well, you remember the home runs that Guzman hit against the Giants when the Padres were there. He watched him turn to his own dugout, and it caused a little bean brawl incident. And he's having some kind of a day here. A double first time up. Now the home run into his own bullpen to put his team on top 4-3. And just a workout for Jordan Zimmerman.
Padres have hit 82 home runs this year. It's 7th in the league. And Ohlendorf leaves one upstairs to Chris Denorfia. For 2, 2 ground balls. Ball 2. This year the Nats have hit 78 home runs and given up 77. All the way over there, Rendon with a nice running basket catch. Anthony had a long way to go. 2 outs.
I don't know if Jason Worth saw that very well, but Anthony Rendon took a peek at his right fielder and realized he was the only guy that was going to make this play. And for a guy that's played third his whole career, this is not an easy play for a guy that's played second his whole career. But once again, the athletic ability from number 6 shines. Nice running play on the run. And like you said, long way to go. And the more you watch him play, he's sneaky fast. He's got wheels.
Next batter, Logan Forsythe, the second baseman. Robbed of a hit by Zimmerman. Walked, stole second, and scored a run 2 innings. Actually, last inning on 2 ground balls after he got to second base. Then Ohlendorf has been missing away. It's 3-0 now. Out to right center. Denard Span. And he'll yield to Jason Worth. So the Nats are behind. They'll have to battle again. LaRoche homered last time up. 4-3, San Diego. Behind, but a long time left. Lexus dealers here in Washington, D.C. donate $250 to the Children's National Medical Center every time a national homers. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection. And a very nice swing by Adam LaRoche and a nice payday for charity.
Yeah, home run number 13. And look at the pitch by Marquis. Good low ball hitter going down, digging it out. And sending it into his own bullpen. Some high fives. Getting back to his own dugout. And Desmond, do you see him? He's just eyeballing that helmet. He can't wait to take it off.
Adam LaRoche now, over his last 58 games, hitting around .315. So 11 career hits and 3 home runs against Jason Marquis, who through 5 innings has thrown 78 pitches, 45 strikes. Marquis has 3 double play balls today, but on 2 of them, the Nationals have lined hard into double plays. So they've been on the verge of breaking through for a lot of runs today. It's hitting into some tough luck. And LaRoche will lift this one to right field. Denorfia back, and he'll catch it at the edge of the track. Adam lined into one of those double plays back in the second, so he has stung it 3 times. The Nats box score, 8 hits. And look at that, 1 through 8, all with 1. Unlucky hitters today, Zimmerman and Worth, as well as LaRoche with line drive outs. Harper as well, his first time up.
Keep an eye on Jason Worth right here. I watched him come off the field last inning, and I don't know if the heat's getting to him or he felt something, but he wasn't running too well.
We're told the catcher, Yasmani Grandal, has suffered a right knee sprain. And further evaluation to come. Worth has lined to center, right center actually, where they're playing him right now, and singled to the left side. Marquis trying to go 6 innings for the 12th time this year. 6 or more. No swing, says Quinn Wolcott. 3-0. Anthony Rendon, bottom 6 waiting.
This might be the only fastball you get in a sequence if you're Jason Worth. See if he goes 3-1 heater.
Sinker.
Change.
88, huh?
I just turned it over right there for ball 4.
Nats have a runner with 1 out. His 3rd walk of the day. Rendon coming in. You can win a hitting lesson with Ryan Zimmerman. Joins Masson's Touch 'em All rewards for your chance to win the grand prize. MassonSports.com to sign up starting this Monday.
He'll teach you how to stay through the ball, just like we're showing you on TV right there.
I would pull something posing for that picture. That looks dangerous. Rendon base hit to left and a fly to center.
Hit the ball well to center last time. He's had a couple of good ABs.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's 6 for his last 36, but no time during that stretch has he looked overmatched by Major League pitching at all. You're going to go through stretches where you hit the ball hard at people. That's Nick Vincent for the Padres. Marquis due to bat 2nd in the 7th. And for the Nats, Fernando Abad. Ross Ohlendorf, 11 pitches, 5 strikes to get 1 out. Actually 2 outs to end the 6th inning.
That's really the first thing that Ohlendorf's done wrong since he's been a National. Just left that ball up.
Rendon out. Looks like Marquis cut one to the outside corner. Mercedes-Benz will track it, his 3rd strikeout.
Yeah, 88 miles an hour, little 2-seamer, runs it back, starts off the plate, just gets the corner, vintage Marquis.
Roger Bernardino steps to the on-deck circle. Kurt Suzuki, 1 for 2, a double. And a 1-6-3 double play ball. Hits that one a long way to right center. And Will Venable runs it down. All day long, this team on the verge of breaking out. And after 6, San Diego still leads by 1. There.
That's one of your fans.
That's a quarter per dip there. Man, good place to hang out. So they're pretty hot, and we're not feeling too cool ourselves. but we do have a little lofty position here where the wind does blow. Frustrating day for the offense. I mean, they probably have swung the bats well enough to have 6 or 7 runs on double-digit hits, but a couple of RBIs and some Padres defense.
I have 7 hard-hit balls, make it 8 hard-hit balls for outs. So, yeah, they've been squaring the ball up off Jason Marquis, but that's exactly what he wants you to do. This is a guy that broke in with the Braves. Greg Maddux broke him in, and he wants you to swing the bat. Doesn't care if you put it in play. He relies on his defense, and for the most part today, he's been throwing strikes, something that he hasn't done consistently this season for the Padres. I think when you face a lineup as aggressive as the Nats, probably wasn't going to walk anybody anyways. Walk Bryce Harper with the bases loaded. And I think that's it. Denard Span and Bryce Harper.
Ross Ohlendorf still in the game because it never got down to the number 9 spot for the pinch hitter. So it's Nick Hundley. Looks like Pedro Siriaco to hit for Marquis, who's thrown 90 pitches. And then the top of the order for the Padres here in the 7th. And Hundley cracks one to left. Bryce Harper on a hop. You challenge a ball like that, you could turn it into 3 bags. So the Padres getting their share of hits lately. Tune in for the All-Star Game, Fox, Tuesday, July 16th. The best players in baseball competing in the Midsummer Classic. And in moments, we'll find out most of the players going. Pedro Siriaco, pinch hit single here last night, scored a run in the Padres' 3-run 7th inning that made the game a lot closer.
Yeah, he can fly, and we'll see if Bud Black plays for one. I always felt like if he had a good runner at the plate and it wasn't a double play situation, he's tough to double up. You know, up by 1, let him swing. And maybe he was just showing base hit bunt right there. We'll see. No, they're trying to sacrifice Hundley over to second. And did he get hurt on the bunt attempt?
Well, and remember, he took a shot. Or rather, Siriaco now. They're going to come out and look at him.
Himself with the bat. Watch the bat after the bunt. Keep your eye on the bat. Smokes him right in the shin. How about that? Just when you thought you'd seen everything, a guy getting hurt on a bunt.
Bunts have been dangerous around here. Gio took one in the chest on a changeup squaring around last night.
Oh, the game has changed. Unless he's got something previous going on right there, and he hit a rough spot.
Then he lays down a really good bunt. Zimmerman has to make a good play. To LaRoche for the out. Sacrifice good, 5-3.
I think Nick Hundley's telling Ian Desmond that he hit himself with the bat. They're talking about it right now. So what did he do? And hit himself with the bat
on a bunt.
Bunting is dangerous.
Top of the order, Everth Cabrera, career 1 for 3 against Ross Ohlendorf.
Good change up right there, 82. I'm just saying there is no way in my entire career if I hit myself with a bat on a bunt that I would let the trainers come out. Never happened. There's no way.
No balls, 2 strikes. Good heater by Ross.
Throwing the changeups early to get to the fastball late, and that's what you're supposed to do, folks. Bring your picker to the yard. Lefty's got himself a souvenir. Nicely done.
Greatest play of his career. Nice.
Just love to see fans with their gloves. It's great.
Phone about to blow up.
I mean, for all you know, he could have saved that little girl sitting behind him. So you're sitting right there. He's got a glove. He catches it. Nobody's hurt. It's great.
Hitter in the shadow. Just a thin stripe of sunlight across the front of the mound. Batter's eye out in center field, still in the sun. Changing conditions as the grandstand shadows have been creeping quite a while. And a 1-2 pitch. I'm telling you, these guys.
Well, if foul balls were a stat, they could take them to arbitration.
Yeah, how many baseballs do you have to rub up before the game when you play the Padres? One ball and 2 strikes with 1 out.
And trying to get on the same page. Hasn't really looked comfortable, Carp, with a fastball yet here today. Throwing some good change-ups. Still trying to find that 2-seamer that we've seen from him down in the zone.
One-two pitch locked him up off speed. Nicely done. 2 outs. Kollendorf with his first strikeout.
Kurt Suzuki went out there. They agreed on a slider down and into Cabrera, and they execute it perfectly. Watch him get it out front. Lots of spin on that. Made him aware of the fastball in the inner half. He's cheating to get to that heat, and in the mid-90s gets a slider instead for strike 3.
And now I can say this after the at-bat. The Nats have Cabrera coming off the DL 0 for 9 in this series. There's Will Venable. Made a fine running catch on Suzuki a few moments ago. And with the bat, he's 0 for 3, robbed of a hit by Harper last time.
Well, Bud Black said that Cabrera's not going to be our savior. We can't count on him. There's 24 other guys on this squad that have to get the job done. It's going to take him a minute to get his timing back.
Yeah, and you made a great point a couple of innings ago. Not only trying to get your timing back, but you're out there competing against guys who are in full flight at this stage of the season. I mean, all these guys have about 85 to 90 games under their belts, and this is when they're sort of in the prime of their season, and everybody kind of going pedal to the metal with the All-Star break coming up.
Yeah, this is when the game's moving its fastest. You haven't really hit the wall yet in August or September.
2 balls, 1 strike. Nats have been in the field for some long half innings today.
We said that would be crucial at the outset of this ball game. You stand out there in the heat, it zaps your concentration and your focus.
And the Padres continue to foul off pitches. That was good for strike two, and the count's even. Padres have been tough for the Nats in this ballpark since it opened in 08. With last night's win, it's 8-8. Since 05, the Padres lead the series between the Nationals, and obviously a much better Washington ball club now, but it's 33-20. They've always been a tough one for the Nats. 2-2 pitch. In the air to right. Worth using the glove as shade. Now using it to make the catch. Padres have stranded 4 runners today. 7th inning stretch brought to you by Hyundai's easy decision event. Visit your Washington area Hyundai dealers today. Head for the food court. Something hot and something cold. Behind the San Diego guy, Steven Strasburg. He's beaten the Padres this season already. On the road, he'll try to do it at home. Strasburg, a 1.29 ERA last 9 starts. We'll get you going at 1 p.m. with Nats Extra, Johnny and Ray here at the ballpark. We join you from the booth at 1:30. First pitch, 1:05. 1:35, pardon me. We would be extremely late joining you at that time.
I didn't know Captain America had a sidekick. Is that like his Robin on the left?
That's Captain Baja California on the left, I guess.
They are loving
now that's
got
to be really comfortable today. That
oh my goodness.
Well, save us, Captain America. The Nats are down by 1. They'll face right-hander Nick Vincent, 26-year-old lefty. 27 games for the Padres out of the bullpen last year. And Vincent has a save this year. Just 12 innings, 10 hits. Roger Bernardina for the Nats to lead off the 7th for Ollendorf.
Sharks going to see lots of cutters. There's one. Throws the cutter 69% of the time. So fastball 90, cutter 87, changeup 84, but pretty much fastball cutter.
Roger Bernardina, 3 for 14 as a pinch hitter. Drew Storen for the 8th against 3-4-5. He'll be looking for a bounce back outing today. 0-2, target way out there. And then reaching to his right was Hundley for strike 3. Vincent didn't throw it out where he was targeted.
Well, Cuttier on the inner half for a foul ball, strike 1. Then he went change up to Bernardino. Then he goes backdoor cutter that looked like it got the plate.
Yeah.
Started way off the plate, came back for a called third looking.
Denard Span. All the Nats seeing this pitcher for the first time. And Denard has walked, singled, stolen a base, and scored. Remember that stat. When he scores a run, they're 8 over 500 this year. Lefty Joe Thatcher, righty Luke Gregerson. Bud Black looks like he's going to piece together his bullpen. Going matchups the rest of the way here. A lot of guys warming up. 1-1.
See that natural cutter from Vincent, just starts it on the outer half. Looks like you may have a tendency to give up on it, and it comes back late.
The second one, Hundley had to reach over to grab.
Going back out there again with it.
That one stays.
It's weird. Most of the time when you think of a cutter to a lefty, you think of starting it down the middle and breaking their bat or running it in on their hands. He's doing the opposite. He's starting it off the plate and trying to backdoor it.
Three and two. Tried it again. Ian Desmond next. Base hit last time, extending his hitting streak. Bryce Harper, if the inning goes beyond that. This will slice right to the barrier on the left field side.
You know, even though that's a foul ball for Span, a 3-2 count, that's a pitch 2 weeks ago he was rolling over to first base. He's doing a nice job of getting his hands inside the baseball and making the adjustments at the plate. And there was the cutter in on the 3-2 count.
Jason Marquis issued 3 walks today. The Nats have walked 235 times this year, and that's $50 every time to the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Washington, D.C. Thanks to Care First, Blue Cross, Blue Shield. Target in. Span continues to fight.
I think he fouled that ball off behind him. Every once in a while you see a batter foul the ball off between their legs in the 5-hole. And I'm wondering if Denard Span didn't foul that ball off behind him. And there's a cutter chasing him hard. Where'd the ball go? Made contact. Yeah, he fouled it off his back foot, it looked like, or at least behind him. To where he actually made contact out in front. But the ball went around him.
9th pitch of the at-bat coming. And a great battle, resulting in a base hit. Span on for the 3rd time today.
That's a great at-bat.
And he's already stolen a base.
I mean, that swing right there is why I got excited about the foul ball down the left field line, because his hands are inside the baseball. Doesn't give up on the backdoor cutter. You see the ball chasing back to the plate, stays on it, hands inside the baseball, head down on contact, and that is a pretty swing. It's going to be a fun second half if Denard Span keeps that swing right there. That was pretty.
1-on-1 out. Ian Desmond flared one to right center last time.
And this is where I always thought the cutter breaks right onto a righty's barrel. It's a better pitch for a righty to a lefty than it is a righty to a righty.
Next RBI by the Nats shortstop will be number 50. They're playing him deep in center and left. So he'll go right field, right in front of Kristen Orfia. And the tying runs to second base with Bryce Harper coming in.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. That cutter started off in and broke right onto Ian Desmond's barrel. Watch where this cutter starts. Right out over the plate and breaks right onto his barrel. Nice piece of hitting going the other way, using the hole provided by the Denard Span single. Nats in business here at the bottom of the 7th.
Bryce Harper, 2 RBIs today, and that's it for Nick Vincent. And they've had Joe Thatcher ready for this. In the outfield in New York, Bryce Harper just named to the All-Star team as a starter with Carlos Beltran and Carlos Gonzalez in the outfield. Congrats.
The youngest player in National League history to start an All-Star game. How about that?
That's awesome. Missed a lot of time and the fans still voted him in. Tells you what the nation at Major League Baseball thinks of Bryce Harper. Joe Thatcher appeared in the ballgame last night in the 6th. Struck out Harper, grounded out Zimmerman, grounded out LaRoche. So Bryce against this lefty, 0 for 2 career.
Well, we've said it throughout his career. The bigger the stage, the bigger the player. And I don't know if he knows. We just got the feeling we're about ready to do something special. Got a pitch.
Not sure how the Nats are going to handle it here in the stadium as far as letting the fans know, maybe between innings. Wouldn't that be great after a game tying or taking the lead type 7th inning? And Harper will foul it. Thatcher, herky-jerky, sidearm, big-time breaking stuff. Tough for lefties to hang in or to reach him. So Bryce, 1 for 2 today. Line out, bases loaded walk, and a base hit. 2 batted in. Thatcher worried a lot about Denard Span. So here comes Cabrera, and then out goes Hundley.
It's like, yeah, the guy in the batter's box just got elected to the All-Star game. We got to worry about him.
And the 0-2 and a good take on a sweeping breaking ball.
It's got to be so hard to stay in there on Thatcher if you're left-handed. I mean, he's almost throwing the ball from behind you. Tough to keep that front side closed if you're lefty hitting against Thatcher.
Ball gets away. Runners are moving up. Great secondary leads by Span and Desmond. Second and third, 1 out.
Well, reading the ball in the dirt, Denard Span, no hesitation. Ian Desmond, great job reading Span on the backside. And the first thing Denard did when he got to third was point at Ian Desmond, who has given him a round of applause standing on second. Now, usually when you're on second, it's got to kick far away, but Span was off to the races. Watch the read. As soon as the ball hits the dirt, Denard Span with a big secondary. Ian Desmond trailing. And this pitch becomes huge.
2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out. And Harper to left field, not very deep. Carlos Quentin. Here comes Span. Here comes the throw. Game is tied. 3 RBIs for the All-Star.
It's good baseball all the way around. Reading the ball in the dirt. Bryce Harper staying in there in a tough lefty with 2 strikes. Throws a fly ball out there just deep enough to score Denard Span and tie this game up. And right there, Bryce is wondering, did I get enough of it? But the speed of Span and the arm of Quentin allow this game to be tied. Nice at-bat, Bryce Harper.
Now Bud Black wants to go righty-righty on Ryan Zimmerman. So Thatcher gives up a game-tying fly ball. Nats are back even. Ryan Zimmerman, 8 RBIs last week and a half when we come back. Spit for a moment to have a look at the All-Star starters joining Bryce Harper. As mentioned, Beltran, Gonzalez in the outfield, Tulowitzki and Brandon Phillips up the middle, David Wright, Joey Votto, Yadier Molina, and we're told that Troy Tulowitzki, the leading vote getter, might be ready to play in the All-Star game in another week and a half.
He tried to come back from that broken right rib. Doesn't know if he's going to be able to play in the game, and that would open the door for a possible Ian Desmond start.
And 3 Orioles start for the American League. Adam Jones, J.J. Hardy, and Chris Davis.
I just put Chris Davis at second, short, and third, too. What kind of year is he having? It's been unreal.
All right, here's Luke Gregerson for the Padres. 39 games, 36 innings, 32 strikeouts. First appearance in this series, and Ryan Zimmerman is 1 for 5 with a home run and a walk against him. The lead runs at second base with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th.
I see lots of sliders from Gregerson. It's his best pitch.
First base side of the pitching rubber.
A lot of concern about the runners on second base.
Yeah, and right after Thatcher was so preoccupied with Span, he threw a wild pitch. High strike, 82.
It's the slider, throws it 64% of the time.
Zimmerman, base hit. Here comes Desmond. Denorfia's throw, not in time. The Nats take the lead. Ryan's out at second. Zimmerman's 9th RBI in his last 11 games, and his second hit of the day put the Nationals on top. Clutch hitting in the bottom of the 7th.
Bat died a hero. Just off the end, the slider from Gregerson. Look at the bat just explode. Left with nothing but a spear in his hand, and here comes Ian Desmond. Trent Jewett's arm might fall off. Nats up 5-4. Wow.
Game feels good to be back on top. Nats lead 5-4. You can swing for the fences with the new Home Run Derby mobile game from MLB.com, available on your iPhone and iPad. Download MLB.com's Home Run Derby game free. Do it today.
Do it right now.
And if you win those hitting instructions from Ryan Zimmerman, you will really be in business. So here's Drew Storen trying to bounce back from a really tough outing. 1 inning, 3 hits, 3 runs against Milwaukee on Thursday, and he had a 4-run inning at the hands of the Brewers on Tuesday. So, Drew, a couple of rough outings. Before that, really good for the better part of a month. Trying to get things back here. He'll face Carlos Quentin, who's 2 for 3. Quentin, 1 career plate appearance against Drew, and it was a walk. First pitch, pop up. Ryan Zimmerman.
I'm being told right now from the truck, no Ian Desmond to the All-Star team. Cabrera and Segura, the backups. But you never know if Troy Tulowitzki is hurt. They could still add him to the ball club. I think, didn't they do that last year with some injuries, and that's how they got on? So a long way to go in that one.
Yeah. Now, there will be numerous players named today who will not be in New York. Chase Headley, 1 for 3. Slaps it. Line drive. 2 pitches, 2 outs. Zimmerman catches both. Today's copyrighted broadcast presented by authority of the Washington Nationals Baseball Club and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. Did you download Home Run Derby already?
Right now.
Oh, brother.
Well, during the break I did.
That fast?
Yeah.
Jesus Guzman, 3-run homer last time up. Drew Storen, strike 1. Guzman's never faced Drew. Throwing the heater, 96. Killer slider. It was up.
Well, what a difference a day makes, going off the field to a standing ovation. Mercedes-Benz of Arlington and Mercedes-Benz of Alexandria. 5-4 Nats cruising to the bottom of the 8th. And hey, now you're an all-star. Get your game on. Go play. The youngest starting all-star in the history of the National League team, Bryce Harper, with a big day here. In a bit of a scuffle, trying to get his timing back. There's his first knock to check in with an RBI. Then a sacrifice fly, scoring Denard Span. So 3 RBI in the day for Bryce Harper, National League All-Star, starting outfielder.
And the first national to start since Alfonso Soriano in 06 in the middle of his 40-40 season. Jordan Zimmermann has made the All-Star team. 6th homegrown Nat. Harper, Desmond, Strasburg, Ryan Zimmerman, Chad Cordero preceding him. So 2/3 of the equation. We'll wait and see on Ian Desmond as the days go by. Ian Desmond is one of the 5 candidates on the fan vote for the last man on them.
So is Puig, though.
Yeah, he's going to get a lot of votes.
Yeah.
Adam LaRoche 1 for 3 with a solo home run today. He's hit the ball hard 3 times.
I say they both make it. How about that call? One by a manager, one by the fan vote. There's your 2013 National League All-Stars from your Washington Nationals.
Smiling photos taken moments ago. No, it's from the archives, but they're pretty happy. And that'll be hooked down into the right field corner. 1-2 on Adam LaRoche, who against Lou Gregerson career is 0 for 2. Nationals bullpen busy with a hot closer. And you never know when something might happen with the pitching staff, and a guy like Soriano would get some late consideration.
You never know, man.
That's what Joaquin Andujar said. There was one word to summarize the game of baseball. You never know.
Let's go for your Kia Drive of the game, brought to you by Kia. Visit Kia.com, one of the fastest growing car brands in America. And Adam LaRoche, home run number 13. Getting a hero's welcome back to his dugout. And that's officially the slowest high 10s I've ever seen in my life.
LaRoche bounces one off the plate. Right side, ball spinning. That's a base hit. It got by the bag and then went foul.
That was awesome.
One of the most beautiful, as you say, things of the year.
And when you're going good, you're going good.
2 for 4 day with that.
Watch this. Unbelievable. I mean, that's just absolutely going good. Everything going your way. Second hit of the day for LaRoche, and that's a guy, folks, that lined out twice today. First to third base, last time to right field, so I guess they all do even out.
Yeah. The other great philosopher would say that's baseball. But that was really something. Guzman coming straight in, and the ball took an absolute right turn. So here's Worth. He's been on base twice. Base hit, walk.
A little Massey there for you pool experts out there.
I know.
I don't know if LaRoche's back is feeling great at first base right now. He's stretching out and grabbing it. Now you would think with the lefty going tomorrow that if his back is hurt a little bit, it would give Tyler Moore a chance to get in that lineup.
Yeah. Worth pops it up right side. Logan Forsythe. That's the first out here, bottom of the 8th. Rendon and Suzuki the next 2.
You know, Carl, in my experiences, when you see a hit like Adam LaRoche just got, you know, it's great for him to get a second knock of the day, but in the dugout, you start to think things are going our way all of a sudden. Just something little like this, a little spinner that gets by somebody for a freaky-looking hit like that. All of a sudden, the team and the ball club, you know, that's playing better all of a sudden starts to think that things may be changing.
Well, you know this because you've been in clubhouses all your life. Players are so superstitious, and they see something like that. Ooh, that means something. I like it. Here we go. And you know how that thinking goes. Oh, look at this ambush. Why even throw it? Adam LaRoche totally stealing that one on Lou Gregerson. And he is 3 for 4 this year.
Well, he finally got one that wasn't a foul ball. He's done this about 8 times this year, and they've all been fouled back. Anthony Rendon takes a pitch for LaRoche, who was grabbing his back at first base, and set a serious trap right there for his 3rd stolen base of the season.
And the 9th of his career. So he steals 6 bases in 9 years, and he's got 3 this year for the Nats.
2 words: speed kills.
Tell you something else that plays into there. That's baseball instinct on a play like that. Kurt Suzuki, number 8 spot. The Nats have 2 shots to double their lead now. Rendon 1 for 3. That ball came right out over the plate, and he struck out looking for the 2nd time. It'll be up to Kurt Suzuki, who has never faced Luke Gregerson. Soriano is hot in the bullpen, ready for the 9th. They'll have Denorfia, Forsythe, and Hundley 6, 7, and 8 due up. And the great thing about that is he had a 9-pitch save last night. So that 9th inning didn't take much of a toll on him to nail down that 8-5 win. And Suzuki, after seeing that pitch to Rendon, was ready for it.
Yeah, and with Denorfia leading off in his speed, this at-bat for Suzuki becomes big. We'd love to have a 2-run lead going into the 9th instead of a 1-run lead, with the speedy Padre set to lead off the top of the 9th.
And Tracy ready if it gets to the number 9 spot here in the 8th. Suzuki, right center. Will Venable there. Here we go. The Nats have battled back with 2 in the 7th. 3 outs to get. Soriano next.
They're going to be okay with this. It was a big hit, but Ryan Zimmerman's bat shattered into about 4 pieces. So Bat dies a hero to put the Nats up 5-4. Hustling and Desmond coming around. Ryan trying to draw a throw at second base. But that put the Nats up by 1. Find your happy place or just build one with the Yellowwood brand pressure treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Rafael Soriano, 11 consecutive saves. On the saves ledger in the National League, Jason Grilli of the Pirates 28, Craig Kimbrell and Soriano 23 each. The top three, face Chris Denorfia, Logan Forsythe, and Nick Hundley in the top of the ninth. He's been busy the last couple of nights. Soriano, with a save 2 nights ago, had to throw 19 pitches against the Brewers, but as I mentioned, only 9 last night with 7 strikes against the Padres. Here are your final guys to vote for to get into the All-Star game. Yasiel Puig's going to get a lot of votes. Hopefully Ian Desmond as well. We're told that Everth Cabrera is the only Padre voted on. Of course, every team needs to be represented. So he's one of the shortstops named. Segura is not the only Brewer. They also got Carlos Gomez on the team. Denorfia 0 for 3. And again, Soriano career 1 for 2.
Isn't that how Bryce made it last year? He was in the vote. He didn't make the vote, but then there was an injury, so they named him to the team.
I think there's a good chance Ian Desmond goes to New York.
And plays in the All-Star game. Not just goes
he doesn't want to see a play or anything.
No.
He just wants to go up there. And a 1-1 to Denorfia's off to the right side. '93 held on to it too long, and the count's even 2-2. Second baseman Logan Forsythe. Guys in this inning with power: Denorfia 6 homers, Forsythe 3, Hundley 5. And he will overpower him for a fly ball to right center. It'll play deep. It'll play to Span for the first out.
Big first out. Gave it a ride. And Nats defense, outfield playing no doubles. Easy play for Denard Span.
Tomorrow for the Padres, rookie left-hander Robbie Erlin and Steven Strasburg going for number 5. Logan Forsythe 0 for 2 with a walk and a steal. A run scored today. Rips it up the middle, tying runs on. Got a pitch up, and he wasn't waiting. That's his first career at bat against Soriano, and that'll bring in the catcher Nick Hundley. Came in to replace the injured Yasmani Grandal in the 3rd inning. Has grounded out and singled. He's pulled the ball twice. And against Rafael Soriano, 0 for 2 career.
Just looking for that ground ball. That pitch usually the cutter away or the slider down and away.
92 elevated a bit, but he slipped it by him. Marcotte against Soriano, flied out to left last night for the 2nd out of the 9th. So he's waiting in the number 9 spot.
The really dangerous part about playing no doubles right here as an outfield is if a ground ball gets through the infield, it's first and third. It's easy to advance as a runner when the outfield's playing this deep on a ground ball. That's where the no doubles defense in the outfield for me becomes tricky. I mean, it's standard. Most teams do this, but you're playing that deep because the tying run is on first base. You're trying to cut down the angles and the gaps, and you don't want anything hit over your head. But if a ground ball trickles through, it's an easy first and third for the offense.
One ball and 2 strikes with 1 out.
Well, this pitch right here becomes huge. You go to 3-2. It gives Bud Black a chance to start the runner. Not that he can't in a 2-2 count, but you would think in a 3-2 count, it gives him the luxury of starting the runner. Big pitch coming right here.
Short lead by Forsythe. Soriano delivers, and reaching for that one, Hundley stays alive. Braves and the Phillies a couple minutes away from starting in Philadelphia. The Nats trying to post a W. And a 2-2 way outside.
So the decision time for Bud Black. He got a guy in the box with 54 strikeouts coming into today and just 8 walks. So if you're betting he's going to put the ball in play, you start the runner. If you have any worries about that, you don't. For me, I do. Every single time in a 3-2 count with 1 out, down by 1.
Runner holding, and a base hit to center. Ball had some carry on it, and if you're not in no doubles, that's a ball your center fielder might try to catch. But they were deep, and it's 2 on 1 out with Mark Kotsay coming in.
If you start the runner, it's first and third.
Yes, sir.
Well, it wouldn't be a Rafael Soriano save opportunity without a little drama.
As mentioned, Mark Kotsay flew out against him for the 2nd out of the 9th inning last night. Kotsay, as a pinch hitter this year, he's their best. 7 for 30 with a homer, 4 RBIs. And against Soriano, career 1 for 7. And veteran guys like Kotsay, they do not wait for strike 2.
Well, you got a pitch right there. It's a guy that likes to go up the middle the other way, and he got a fastball right down the middle and fouled it back. He was on it.
Check swing. Went flying right by Everth Cabrera.
Oh, reach back 94 right there. Held on to it a little bit too long. It's a good 0-2 pitch, though. Served a purpose. Made the hitter move his feet.
Ground ball just outside third, and the count stays 1-2.
So you go fastball in, fastball away. I don't know if you think about going a slider right here in a 1-2 count. But Kotze putting up a fight.
About to throw his 20th pitch of the 9th inning. Davey and the Nats fighting hard to try to get 3 games over 500. And that's inside, 2-2. $32,314 trying to urge their closer through this 9th. And a 2-2. Off Soriano. Rendon got him at first. A huge out on a deflected ball. And it goes 1-4-3 with runners moving ahead.
Check out the swing right there, and that got Soriano and Kurt Suzuki out to check on him. And it looked like it got him in the meat hand. I don't know if that ball was ticketed for center field, but what a play by Anthony Rendon. Quinn Walcott right on top of it. I think that got Soriano in the pitching hand, and he's in pain on the mound as we show this replay. And a nice play by Rendon to get a hustling Mark Kotze, who's always played the game right, maybe faster to run through the bag right there. But a lot of times guys will slide head first into first because they think they're going to be out and they try to trick the umpire into a call.
Well, Soriano shooing everybody off the mound. He'll throw a couple. The man on deck is the just named All-Star Everth Cabrera.
It looked like it got him in his hand on the hop. His pitching hand.
Amazing play on the footwork by Rendon, though, going one way, then the other.
Let's see where it got Soriano. That was just self-defense right there. He tried to get his bare hand up. This angle should show it better. It looked like it got him in the pitching hand. And like you said, Carp, changing directions. Third baseman's arm. Strong throw. And everybody take a deep breath, and here we go.
Soriano retired Cabrera on a ground ball to end the game last night. Everth Cabrera is 0 for 2 career against the Nats closer.
This is where if you're playing the infield, you say, hit the ball to me. I want the baseball right here, right now.
As Soriano takes his time, Cabrera getting time and stepping out.
I've seen guys in these situations like Cabrera try to drag a bunt, even though the go-ahead run's on second.
Yeah, infielders back. Target away. Fastball just upstairs. That is right in there at 93.
I think Cabrera was seeing whether Rafael Soriano wanted to go after him or Will Venable on deck. taken all the way. Took a strike right down the middle.
Ground ball, LaRoche to the bag, Soriano. The Nats win.
Unbelievable. Are you kidding me?
Evidently, LaRoche wished the most for a ground ball.
Last out, shirts out. Last out, hearts out. What a play by the Gold Glove first baseman, Adam LaRoche, to save the game. That is 2 runs, and it's 6-5 Padres. But Adam LaRoche with one of the best plays you'll ever see to end a game to win it here for the Nats.
A 3-hour-plus battle in this one tonight.
Give Soriano credit for getting there. What a play to end this game. And yeah, show a little emotion.